tenfold. Let it go out and spread the good news of Jesus Christ in your mighty matchless name. Amen. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Thou preparest a table for me in the presence of my enemy. Thou anointeth my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Big deal. We want to start promoting this right now. The VBS reunion party. Getting the VBS club again. This is for everyone who would like to attend, not just VBS kids. This is open to anybody. We're going to have a bowling party at the Chautauqua Bowling Alley on September 28th from 5 to 7. Free food, free fun, free fellowship. You can't beat free. So join us over there for that. Reminder also, the women's circles will be starting up again, including the Lydia Circle. They're reviving the Lydia Circle, and that's really exciting. So, ladies, be prepared to get more information about that. Choir is going to start back on the 11th. That's coming up, all you choir folks. Isn't that exciting? Monthly breakfast will be September 22nd, and again, as Mark had said, we welcome all of you who are visiting with us this morning, and hopefully you receive a little visitor's card. If you didn't put it in the collection plate, you can hand it to us on the way out the door, but we'd sure love to know how to get back in touch with you so we can call and pester you about coming back. And several other announcements that are also in the bulletin. One big one, Jim Nichols, going to be 80 on Tuesday, so don't forget to sing happy birthday. Is that all? They've been calling him old man around here since he was 50. needs this morning. As I mentioned, Rachel Hatton, who she was in the hospital all week in the epilepsy center, and she's been having seizures, and she only has them here and at school. Yeah, and so they had her there all week, and for the first few days, they tried everything to trigger one, and nothing worked, and the neurologist said, well, why don't you ask the pastor to come up here and preach to you? So you have it. I didn't comment on that. And then she got home Friday, and I said, well, I hope you'll be able to come to church Sunday and bring your neurologist with you. So we were planning on that, but she texted me this morning and said she's not feeling well this morning. So let's continue to remember her in our prayers. And then also, I got a message just before church that Michelle Smith was on her way to the emergency room. She's having some pains in the stomach for a few days, and so Chris is taking her. She's there right now as we speak. So that's why they're not here this morning. And remember them. Prayers. Had a couple of folks in the hospital. I tell you, when it rains, it pours. Rachel was in the hospital. Leslie was in the hospital. And thankfully, she's doing better. But she had a real scare there for a couple of days. And, continue to remember her in your prayers, but she's still healing from not sure exactly what it was. Some kind of bacterial infection in the lungs is what we're thinking. That's why she can't sing this morning. She's not back to 100%. So remember her. Cheryl has been in the hospital. Thank the Lord she's able to be with us this morning. Mike McHugh's dad, Hiram, is in the hospital. Has had another mini stroke, so we want to remember him. And prayers for Debbie Kress, who's a friend of Becky's mom of Becky's Renfro's friend's mom. Easy for me to say. Having triple bypass surgery on September 3rd. The flowers, aren't they beautiful? The flowers are from Ed Straley's mother's funeral, who passed away on the 24th, and she was 96 years old, and that's a good long time. So we thank the Lord for receiving her. They celebrated her life. Celebrated the resurrection, and then when it was all over, they brought us some flowers. So remember their family, though, as they grieve their loss. And boy, just all kind of things. Kent Lightcap had eye surgery, and he came through that all right. Thank the Lord for that. And, a lot of folks that are listed on your bulletin and the prayer list there. And finally, I need to ask a special prayer this morning, and I'm just about ready to take a beating and have to tell you all this. But Terry Stivers suffered a heart attack on Thursday, and she has gone to be with the Lord. And I know few of you have already known about this. Steve doesn't want it to end up on Facebook, so we've had to be very careful how we tell people. And we would ask you, because he still has not notified all the close friends and everyone that needs to be notified. And so we don't want someone close to her to log onto their computer and read about it on Facebook. And so this has just been rough for all of us, and we have a long way to go. We have prepared a special prayer square. There were some prayer squares in the narthex already when we came in. We're going to add another one for Steve, and Deanna will be in the narthex on the way out. Please be sure to sign the prayer square. And this is why this service is a little different than you've been accustomed to. We had an emergency staff meeting yesterday, and essentially we threw out the worship service that we had planned for this morning. And this is a whole new worship service with a completely different sermon and everything. And that's why I wanted to move the pastoral prayer to the after the sermon. And I'll give you more reasons. So we're going to put all of these, I want you to remember all these prayer requests that I have mentioned to you, and then we're going to join in a special season of prayer after the sermon this morning. And as far as Steve is concerned and the family, Chris and Julie have been notified. I myself notified Clara, and she's understandably not taking it well, and which is why she's not with us this morning. And it's just the details. He said that she woke up Thursday night and sat up in the bed and said she didn't feel well. And then she started having he thought she was having a seizure. And they were in temporary housing. They haven't even unpacked their belongings yet. They haven't gotten to the condo. They have a phone. There is no 911 there in Belize where they are. So he ran across the street to the neighbors to have her call the ambulance, and when he got back, she was gone. And he's having a rough time. He is going to be coming home to stay. We hope he'll be back Wednesday. He'll definitely be back in a few days. He has some loose ends to tie up down there. And we will have a funeral for her when he gets back. But that's very difficult. It's not like here. You just call the Anderson Funeral Home and everything's taken care of. He's got to do it himself. And so poor Steve is just beside himself. So I want you to especially remember Steve. And when he gets back, he's going to need his church family like never before. And I know that y'all are going to live him. I know you will. And I'm sorry to have to talk about pouring cold water on worship service. I'm sorry to have to do it this way. But I can't think of any other way. There's no good way to tell you this. And this is about the best way we can think of. And so let us remember Steve in our prayers. And hear now the word of the Lord. The words of the preacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down, and hastens to the place where it rises. The wind blows to the south and goes around to the north. Round and around goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. All streams run to the sea, but the sea is not full. To the place where the streams flow, there they flow again. All things are full of weariness. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be. What has been done is what will be done. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there a thing of which it is said, see, this is new? Has been already in the ages before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of later things yet to be among those who come after. I, the preacher, have been king over Israel and Jerusalem, and I applied my heart to seek and search out by wisdom all that is done under heaven. It is an unhappy business that God has given to the children of man to be busy with. I have seen everything that is done under the sun. Behold, all is vanity, striving after the end. This is the word of the Lord. Is it really? Rather depressing, if you ask me. way of looking at life. Here it is in the Bible. Koheleth. That's the name given to the person who wrote this book, Ecclesiastes. The Hebrew Bible is called Koheleth. We don't really know who Koheleth was. The tradition says King Solomon wrote the book. Maybe so, maybe not that important. Koheleth is a Hebrew word that means preacher. Someone who teaches in the assembly. And so this is what he taught. It says, Koheleth, I looked around and I observed the ways of the world, and this is what I found. Heaven. Vanity. Vapor. Vanity of vanities is the way most of the English Bibles translate this word, but it doesn't really do justice to the Hebrew word heaven. Hebel is one that does not have an English equivalent. Hebrew Bible says, Hebel, Hebel, all is heaven. What is heaven? I thought about this, talking to the wife the other night, yesterday morning, as a matter of fact. I didn't just write this sermon overnight. I said, she's been asking me for a long time, when are you going to preach about that Hebel stuff again? I like that. I said, oh, well, I don't know, one day the opportunity will present itself, I suppose. I got this old sermon stuck back in the corners in the drawer somewhere in the archives, and I can dig it out and dust it off maybe if I ever need it. Well, we were talking the other morning, and I waited to tell her about Terry's death because, if you didn't know, Steve and Terry to us are family. They're not church members, they're not friends, they're family. They adopted us when we came here. Knowing that we're far away from our blood relatives, all of the people we know, every Thanksgiving we spent with them. Every Christmas with them. Every Easter, every special occasion, every holiday. We went to the ball games. We spent many a day just sitting in their basement down there, watching car races and football and eating chili and vegetable soup and grilling out. All the things that families do. And Terry was the sister that I never had. So, Friday night I was not able to tell my wife because she was on her way to work, and I didn't want her to go to work with that on her heart. So for about 5 or 6 hours I had to pretend that everything was fine. I said, hey, I know, I'll get a pizza. To the hotline, got a pizza. On the way out I saw Carol and told her, and we had a little cry together on the sidewalk. And then I took my pizza and I went home with a big smile on my face, and we ate pizza, and I waited until 11 and she went off to work, and when she came home yesterday morning I told her. And she said, why? It doesn't make any sense. Why they made all of these plans and they worked so hard all of their life, and they finally get to retire and they go down there to be happy, and all of a sudden this is what comes of it. I said, yeah, it's kind of the way life is. You make all of these plans and you think you've got it under control, and you've got life by the tail, and you've got everything you want right there in your hand, and then one day you wake up and you open your hand and Hebel. There it was. The word Hebel just kind of came out, and I thought to myself, that's it. Thank you. Writer Koheleth makes this point again and again, that all of the things we strive after, wisdom, pleasure, riches, money, power, fame, all of those things that we strive after in the end come to nothing. It seems so tragically cruel. And we know that Terry and Steve are not the only ones to experience such a thing. Some of us have experienced it in our own families. What's it all about? It hasn't been very long ago that she and I were having a similar conversation. She got up to go to work and she was so tired and she came down the stairs and she said, "Going to work again? What's it all about? Is this all life is about? You just go to work and you come home and you sleep and you eat and you go back to work again? What's it all about?" And I was a little bit insulted that it has taken her 34 years to realize that her husband is wise enough to answer the question, what is the meaning of life? And I said, well, you know what the Catechism says, right? The Presbyterian Church teaches the very first question in the shorter catechism says, what is the chief end of man? And the answer is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. It's more complicated than that. And there's a few little glimpses along the way in Kohelet where he makes that point. They're kind of hard to find. But he says, you know, you strive after this, you go after that, you work for this, you think you got it, and then it all comes to vapor. What's it all about? Well, following the Lord. There's a sense in which we go through life most days under a delusion. We can live our lives day by day and everything is the same and nothing ever seems to change. And if we're not careful, we can fool ourselves into believing it'll always be this way. I don't know how many times in recent days I've bragged on this church. A couple of session meetings in recent months when I've made my pastor's report and did not have a single solitary hospital visit. I said, hey, look at this. Isn't this great? I go talk to my preacher friends at Presbyterian meetings and I say, hey, I don't know, you guys are complaining about to go to all these sick people, but I don't have any. My congregation, they just don't get sick. Don't go to the hospital. I haven't done a funeral in so long, I had to go buy Tom Long's book and study it so in case I ever do one, I'll remember how. Suddenly something happens and one day reality slaps you in the face and you realize that, wait a minute, life in this world is not always all sweetness and light. Kohelet in some ways is a sort of making a kind of a spoof. He says the way that life is, you know, is it just goes around and around and around. Round and round it goes, and where it stops, nobody knows. The wind goes around, and it blows to the west, and if you wait a little while, it'll come back from the east. The river goes south, flows into the ocean, goes up in the clouds, it rains, and here you go again. Round and around. Life is just a circle. We're not really going anywhere, you know. We're just going around and around. That's what the Eastern religions taught. That life has no real purpose except for it's just a circle. All of the Jews' neighbors thought that way. This is where Hinduism and some of those religions get the belief in reincarnation. Life isn't really going anywhere. You die, and if you've been bad, you come back as a bug. If you've been good, you come back as something better. You just keep doing it over and over and over until you get it right. And so there's some sense in which you can say that Kohelet is sort of making fun of that way of thinking. Otherwise, how in the world did this book ever get in the Bible to begin with? Remember one thing. Kohelet was a Jew. Whatever else we know about him, we do know that. And as a Jew, he knew that life is not a circle. Life is a line. It has a beginning. It has an end. And along the way, it is being led and guided by God, who has no beginning and who has no end. Life may seem meaningless at some times, but yet it does have a meaning. Jews look forward to the day when Messiah will come and make all things new. Christians know the Messiah. You see, we cannot be content with a worldview that goes like this. What a hopeless thing. For us, life is a line. We're going somewhere, even when it may seem as if we've been kicked off the tracks. No, God is taking us from here to there. Now, understand this, and there are different people have different ways of looking at it. There are those Christians who think that God controls every little thing. And so when something tragic happens to upset the circle, the first question they ask is, why, God, why? Why did you do that, God? As if to think that God is just up there moving us around like men on a chessboard and every little thing, and if something bad happens, it's God's fault. No. That's not right. There have been others who think of the universe and creation as a giant alarm clock. God is like the divine clockmaker who built the thing and then he wound it up and then he set it on the mantelpiece and he sat back down on his throne and he's just watching it run out. He has no control. It's not right. We are living in a broken world, and as broken people, it's unfortunate to say, all of us have a beginning and an end. Every single one of us is going to die. Sad as that is. Where is the good news? That the good news is that we can look at Jesus and see the line in action. Born in a manger, friend of sinners, healed the sick, made the blind to see, raised the dead, died on the cross. Early in the morning on the third day, they went to the tomb and the stone was rolled away and a voice said, "Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here. He is risen, just as he said." Well, Haley says that the eye just gets tired of looking at this hopelessness. The ear just gets filled with hearing this pebble, this vapor, this hopelessness. And one thing that he did not know was what Paul told us. What no eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor the heart of man imagined, what God has prepared for those who love him. You see, if there was no such thing as resurrection, then we would certainly be in a hopeless condition. Just going around and around in a circle, why work? If it doesn't matter, why bother loving your neighbor? Why bother with anything? Get on the merry-go-round and ride. But we know better. And we know this because God has given us the gift of faith to know that no, we're not on a merry-go-round and we're not going around in a circle, but we are on the way somewhere. We were born and we've had a life, and one of these days we're going to die, and then when the trumpet sounds, we're going to rise again, and we know that we're going to end up at the end of the line, because the end of the journey is heaven.
Amen.
It's not hopeless. Our faith has filled us with hope. Paul said, well, if the dead are not raised, well, then we might as well just be like the Epicureans and all those other circular thinkers. Just eat, drink, for tomorrow we die. But guess what? The dead are raised. And because of that, that is not an option for us, because we know the dead are raised, and the reason we know that is not because we're smart, but because God has given us the gift of faith. This morning, I told somebody a couple of days ago, I said, to be real honest, if I wasn't a preacher, I wouldn't be there Sunday morning. I'd just stay home and cry. That's not true. I'd be here. Because where else would I be? The disciples asked Jesus as people were walking away from him, and they just couldn't deal with it anymore. It's more and more people were walking away and turning their backs on Jesus, and Jesus asked them, well, are you guys going to leave too? Simon Peter said, Lord, where exactly would we go? You have the words of eternal life. As if to say, yes, Lord, this journey with you has not been very much fun. We're not really enjoying the adventure, if you know what I mean. And if we could, we would walk away. But where would we go? And you and I, where would we go? Because we've been given the gift of faith, even in the midst of, and in the face of intense sorrow, loss, grief, even on those days when finally reality kicks us in the stomach and says, yes, you still live in the world. We can gain strength in knowing the end of the journey will find us at the foot of Christ. It is well. It is well. It is well with my soul. And I pray also